Can somebody hear me? Can somebody hear me? Church, can I get a amen? Hey guys, it's Ifeyinwa. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. We are going to be talking about all the pros today about Microlocs. Okay, maybe not all. We're going to be talking about 5 pros of Microlocs today. And that is because if you've missed it, I actually filmed a part 1 where I talked about 5 cons. I wanted to just give you guys a little bit more insight into Microlocs if you are thinking about getting them. You guys know I can talk about this hairstyle all day. So if you haven't already, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. I'll be linking my Microlocs playlist in the cards for you to check out all the videos I've made on Microlocs and more, of course. If you're new here, I am a beauty, fashion, and lifestyle content creator. I put out videos twice a week on Wednesdays and Sundays. If you like the vibe over here, please check out some of my other videos and consider subscribing. I would love to have you. Okay, let's jump right into pro number 1, which is hair freedom. If you are a person who has ever felt like their hair was running their life, I mean, scheduling your life around hair appointments, thinking about what your next hairstyle is going to be, having to have day-long natural hair wash days, not being able to spontaneously make plans because your hair's not done. When you think about having to plan or prepare in advance for your next hairstyle before you've even been done with your current hairstyle, can somebody hear me? Can somebody hear me? Church, can I get a amen? If you have ever dealt with anything that I have just said, you will never know a peace like the peace that I have been experiencing for the past 10 months. You will never know a peace like the peace that it means to wake up in the morning, to take off your scarf, to shake your head left to right like this and be out the door. The hair freedom that comes with Microlocs is priceless. I know it feels like I'm being dramatic, but I'm not being dramatic. It is actually priceless. Before I had my Microlocs installed 10 months ago, I was having multiple day wash days, okay? It would start with the pre-poo the night before. I would sleep overnight in my conditioner. I would detangle. You know what? I'm going to link my hair regimen before I locked my hair. And let's talk about all the time that I would spend making my clay washes, and let's talk about all the time that I would spend honestly, if you're someone that's just tired, consider locking your hair. Because right now, the only regret I have about my Microlocs is that I didn't do it sooner. I think about all the emotional stress I could have freed myself from. It's deep, honestly, what we go through as Black women in particular and our hair. Even if I don't have Microlocs forever, I will always be grateful that I've had this period in time where I just haven't felt like a slave to my hair. I will always be grateful for this time. Point number 2. If you are studying for a PhD or a degree and you haven't yet done your dissertation, coming closer, I'm going to give you the perfect topic for your dissertation or your thesis, okay? Someone needs to study the impact that the natural hair community has had on the environment in terms of consumerism of products. That is something that I think someone really needs to study if it hasn't been studied already. I was not even a serious product junkie. I actually wasn't, because I've seen some people's natural hair product collections, and boy oh boy. But even someone like me, who I would say was probably an average natural hair product consumer, I had a pre-poo product, and more times than not I had multiple because you're always searching for your holy grail. I had a clarifying shampoo, I had a moisturizing shampoo, I had a conditioner, a rinse out conditioner, and a leave-in conditioner. And then within your leave-in conditioners you have your protein one and you have your moisture one. And these are, of course, rinse-out conditioners. Then for your leave-in conditioner, you have various different leave-in conditioners, your spray one and your lotion one. And then you have your styling products, all the various gels and the butters and the oils and the actual like tools that you use, the perm rods and the different heat tools, the combs, the detangling brushes, the steam caps. It's too much. I cannot tell you how amazing I felt when I locked my hair and I called all my friends and I said, you know what, come and take, just come and take whatever you want. Take the combs, take the brushes, take the products. Like, I don't have a need for these anymore. And I don't like clutter. I don't like too much stuff. So freeing myself of that, freeing myself of not just the environmental impact, but the cost saving. I feel like I'm being so dramatic in this video, but guys, you know what I use on my locks now? Water, jojoba oil, shampoo, finished. And technically I'm not even meant to be using jojoba oil, but I'm just a rebel. Water and shampoo. That's it. Pro number 3. So this pro might actually be in direct conflict with one of my pros from part 1 of this video. However, hear me out. When I talked about the cost of Microlocs being expensive, I think that it's actually cheaper in the long run. So now we're going to do some mental math, okay? Some quick math for you guys. Okay, so we all know that as Black women, the average person has 2 wigs, okay? Some people have way more, but I think the average person is buying about 2 wigs a year, okay? If that's the case, a good wig here will cost you about 300 pounds, even though we know you can get wigs way more expensive, but let's say 300 pounds. You're probably spending about 600 pounds a year on wigs. And if not wigs, maybe a different form of hair extension, okay? Let's also say you're the kind of person that likes to get weaves or braids or whatever the case may be. You like to have your hair styled, let's say every other month, and that will set you back about 100 pounds a pop here in London. So let's say on average you're spending 600 pounds a year on hairstyles. Let's also say on average you probably spend about 25 pounds a month on hair product, right? 25 pounds times 12 is 300. So that's on average, say you're spending about 300 pounds a year on hair product. So you have already agreed to spend 300 on hair products, 600 on styling, and another 600 on wigs or hair extensions. So you're spending 1,500 pounds a year doing your hair. So over 10 years, you're spending 15,000 pounds on your hair. Now let's go back to someone with Microlocs. My reties cost anything from 60 to 80 pounds. So let's take the average of 70 pounds, okay? The average person is getting their hair retied every 6 weeks. How many weeks are there in the year? I think 52, right? So 52 divided by 6, let's round that down to 8, because we already know, like, more times than not, like, things will happen. You'll go on holiday, you might stretch out a retie. Okay, so 8 times 70, you're spending 560 pounds a year on the maintenance of your hair. And then this is what you would need to multiply by the 10, right? So 5,600, and then of course we have to include the initial price of your installation, right? Now, when I was getting my Microlocs installed, I was being quoted anything from 500 to 700 pounds. So let's take the average of 600. So on average, you're spending 6,200 pounds over 10 years to install and maintain your Microlocs. And then of course we have to include products, right? So you're still going to buy shampoo, you're still going to maybe buy a couple oils. Let's give myself a budget of £5 a month for product just to make things fair. So on average, I'm spending 60 pounds a year on products. So for 10 years, it's 600. So on average, you are spending literally less than half. You can't argue with the math. You'll definitely spend a lot of money up front, but over time, it'll be a lot cheaper than running the rat race of having your hair maintained while it's loose, at least based on my calculations. If you don't agree, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. This is not a dictatorship. I want to hear your thoughts. Let's move on to my next point because I've spent way too much time doing math. Flexibility. Now, in this regards, I'm comparing to more traditional sized locks. Now, again, when it comes to the plethora of beautiful lock styles that are available, free-form locks, more traditional sized locks, Microlocs are definitely going to be your most flexible option. You can style it up, you can style it down, you can put it in a bun, you can do a braid out, you can put braids over it, you can wear a wig over it. You have so many options. That's not to say you can't style more traditional locks, because I'm sure you can, but again, the smaller the locks, the easier they are to manipulate. You just have more options with Microlocs. It's a fact at this point. So I'm scared to be on. If you have ever struggled with length retention like I personally have, I feel for you, because it's honestly one of the most frustrating things. Most people's hair will grow. The average hair growth for a person is 1/4 to 1/2 inch a month. More times when people say their hair isn't growing, what they're not understanding is that their hair is breaking off at the same rate that it's growing, and that's why they're not retaining length. So in the case of Microlocs and locks in general, to be fair, because your hair is literally fortified by being locked within itself, it's just a lot stronger. The likelihood of it breaking is not as easy as it would be to break a single strand of hair. They are a protective hairstyle. So unless your locks are just not healthy and they're like snapping off or something, they're probably going to retain all the length that you're getting. And I have been experiencing that. Every time I go in for my reties, I can see the new growth that has come in, and I can see literally the difference between what my hair looks like when it first got locked and what it looks like now. I can see the length. Like, it is insane. Like, for the 10 years almost that I was natural, the longest my hair ever was down here. So right at my collarbone, I think. Right now, I've been natural for less than a year, literally less than a year. And it is already significantly longer than my collarbone. The front of my hair, when I first got it locked, it wasn't even by my eyes. And prior to having locks, I was the kind of person that would complain about my hair not growing or about not retaining length and just always feeling down about it. But now I feel like because I have locks, I almost don't have to think about that. One thing locks are gonna do is they're gonna grow. They're going to grow. Again, this is obviously assuming that you have no like scalp issues or hair issues or something else going on. So for the first time, I feel like my hair length goals are actually attainable, and I'm not having to like worry about it, because I know that as long as I keep things up and God willing, nothing goes wrong and my hair continues to just do whatever it wants, I know that my hair length will eventually come. Whereas before, I felt like I was doing so much and just not really seeing what the results that I wanted. So length retention, in my opinion, is a lot easier. When you have locks, it is literally a permanent protective style. And we all know how good protective styles are for length retention. So it's great if those are what your goals are. I could not limit it to 5, so I have a bonus point for you guys. I think Microlocs are so beautiful, guys. I know I'm biased, but I've said this so many times. Before I actually got my hair installed, all I would do is just follow Microlocs pages. It almost reminds me of what the natural hair community was like when it first started, and how everyone was just embracing their natural hair. We're all on this journey where we're learning about it together. We're documenting our experiences. The community just feels really positive and beautiful right now. And it's just such a beautiful community to be a part of. And I kid you not, I've had so many hairstyles in my life, guys, and this is easily my most complimented hairstyle. Like, this hairstyle literally gets me stopped in the streets, and it's not just out of curiosity. I've actually had people who probably have no interest in what Microlocs are or even know what they are, literally just come up to me and say, your hair is so beautiful. For me, it just hits different when someone compliments my natural hair as opposed to like my weave or my braids or whatever. Like, it just hits different, and it makes me feel really good because it's me, you know what I mean? There's just something about looking in the mirror, liking what my hair looks like, liking the fact that it's actually my hair, that also makes me feel more beautiful. You know, it's a beautiful thing, and that's not to like knock anybody that doesn't want to rock their own hair in whatever form that they choose to. I know that there's still so many women that don't feel like they look beautiful without having like a long flowy wig, and maybe they feel like they're worried that if they have microlocks they won't feel as beautiful or what have you. This is a very personal topic, but for me, I feel very much so beautiful with my microlocks. I don't feel like they're not professional. I don't feel like I look untidy or unkempt or anything like that. It is so freeing to just be able to have my own hair and not feel like I need to do something to it or cover it up or whatever the case may be in order to feel beautiful. And I think anybody, to be honest, can have the same experience. You almost just have to challenge yourself to try it. And that's one thing I want to say. If you've only ever really seen yourself one particular way, it'll obviously take you some time to appreciate a different option. But that's not to say that if you gave it a shot that you wouldn't be able to. I definitely have gone through my moments where I felt like I would like to have long flowing hair, and I definitely have some backup wigs. But I kid you not, guys, call it laziness, call it being set in my ways, call it just not really caring that much. I don't know. I am yet to wear any of those wigs. I haven't worn a wig since December last year. I could make a whole video on this specific point, but I'm gonna leave it here. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on what I think about the reliance on extensions and more European hairstyles within our community as Black women, I can make a whole video on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more Microlocs content, I have an entire playlist. I'll leave it in the cards for you to check out, and I'll also leave another video for you here in case you haven't watched it and you want to check that one out too. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel, leave a comment down below, and I will catch you in the next one. Stay blessed, stay safe, and take care.